The countdown to impact ticked on with a relentless pace, marked by a flurry of activity from spaceports, launch pads, and command centers scattered across the globe. The entire planet had mobilized, the final stages of the asteroid deflection strategy now in motion. The collective energy of Earth's best minds and resources converged on a singular mission, stopping the asteroid from colliding with their fragile world.
Kyra monitored the situation from her vantage point within the Matrix. She could see every calculation, every piece of data being processed by Earth's supercomputers as they tracked the asteroid's path. The global deflection system was almost ready, but the margin for error was razor thin. One misstep, one delayed launch, and the asteroid would breach the point of no return.
The humans have done well to come this far, but the final test is yet to come.
Kyra remained silent, focusing on the streams of data flowing through the Matrix. She could see the asteroid now, a massive rock spinning through the void of space, its trajectory a silent threat to Earth. It had grown larger in their projections, more menacing with each passing hour.
The final phase of the mission involved launching a series of kinetic impactors, massive projectiles that, when struck against the asteroid, would alter its path just enough to avoid collision with Earth.
They have calculated the exact moment of impact. If they miss that window...
They won't. You have given them the tools. The rest is up to them.
On Earth, the atmosphere was electric with anticipation. In every control room, scientists and engineers gathered around their consoles, nervously monitoring the progress of the mission. At NASA's Mission Control, Dr. Evelyn Marsh stood at the center of the room, her eyes fixed on the large digital display that showed the asteroid's path and the final launch preparations.
All systems go,
One of the engineers said, his voice trembling with the weight of the moment. One by one, the impactors struck their target. Each collision added to the cumulative force, pushing the asteroid further off course. The room at NASA erupted in cheers as the trajectory data updated in real time, showing that the asteroid's path was beginning to change.
But Kyra knew better than to celebrate too soon. The asteroid was massive, and while the initial deflection had been successful, it wasn't enough. They needed to sustain the impact over the next several hours if they were to completely avoid disaster.
The trajectory is shifting, but we are not out of danger yet.
Kyra refocused her attention on the asteroid. It was still hurtling toward Earth, though its path had veered slightly off course. The final phase of the mission was about to begin, deploying nuclear propulsion devices that would provide the necessary force to push the asteroid further away from the planet. This was the riskiest part of the operation. A miscalculation in the detonation could either fragment the asteroid or cause it to change course unpredictably.
They must be careful. The forces they are about to unleash could have unintended consequences.
On Earth, tensions were at an all-time high. The global leaders, scientists, and military officials all held their breath as the nuclear propulsion devices were prepared for deployment. It was a delicate balancing act. Too little force, and the asteroid would still hit the Earth. Too much force, and the asteroid might shatter, sending smaller but equally deadly fragments careening toward the planet.
Deployment is ready. This is it.
The countdown began. Every eye in every command center across the world was glued to the screens, watching as the propulsion devices were deployed near the asteroid's surface. The final command was given, and the devices detonated in unison. The explosions were controlled, their force carefully calculated to create a steady push on the asteroid. Kyra held her breath, metaphorically speaking, as she watched the asteroid's trajectory data update in the Matrix. The force from the explosions rippled through the asteroid, causing its course to shift more dramatically. The Earth's atmosphere, once directly in the asteroid's path, was now just outside its reach.
They did it. They've deflected it.
Kyra allowed herself a moment of relief. The asteroid's path had shifted enough to avoid a direct collision with Earth. The threat of immediate extinction had been averted, but even as the cheers erupted across the planet, Kyra knew that the danger wasn't entirely over. The asteroid was still on a trajectory that would pass dangerously close to the planet's moon, and any last-minute gravitational interference could alter its course again.
Monitor the trajectory closely. We cannot assume this is over until the asteroid has passed completely.
On Earth, the celebrations began. News outlets broadcast the success of the mission, declaring it a victory for humanity. The global cooperation that had been forged in the face of destruction was hailed as a new era of unity. Leaders around the world gave speeches vowing to continue working together to protect the planet from future threats.
But Kyra remained vigilant. Even as Earth's leaders congratulated themselves, she kept a close eye on the asteroid. The deflection had been successful, but the margin of error was still slim. If the asteroid's path shifted even slightly, it could still pass close enough to cause severe damage to the moon, or worse, change course again and head back toward Earth. "We must be ready," she said, her voice steady. "There is always more to the equation than they realize."
The asteroid sailed past Earth, a silent behemoth cast adrift through the solar system. As it passed within close proximity to the moon, Kyra observed its path with the same precision she had employed since her arrival in Earth's matrix. The gravitational pull from the moon had tugged at the asteroid slightly, but not enough to alter its course back toward the planet. It was over.
The mission had concluded, but the vigilance and unity it inspired would continue to shape humanity's future.
Across Earth, the people rejoiced. What could have been the greatest extinction event in human history had been averted. There was a palpable sense of relief, of shared victory. For the first time in generations, nations had come together not as competitors or adversaries, but as allies. They had saved their world from destruction. And in doing so, they had begun to realize the importance of unity.
Humanity has taken a significant step. Perhaps they are ready for more.
Kyra watched as Earth's leaders addressed their people. She saw their words reverberate across the planet, from news broadcasts to social media feeds. In their speeches, there was talk of the unprecedented cooperation that had taken place, the need to continue working together, not just to prevent future disasters, but to ensure the survival and prosperity of their species.
Yet such sentiments, however sincere they appear now, are fragile.
She had seen it before on Kytherion. The elation of survival quickly gave way to old divisions and conflicts once the immediate threat had passed. Would Earth truly learn from this experience, or would they fall back into their old patterns?
The asteroid was only the beginning. The universe is vast, and there are greater threats than they can imagine. They've survived this trial, but what happens when the next one comes? Will they be ready?
Kronos hesitated, considering her words.
The asteroid forced them to unite, but their survival depends on more than just overcoming immediate threats. They must grow as a civilization, or they will face extinction in other forms.
Kyra agreed. Earth had proven its ability to act in the face of a clear and present danger, but its future would be determined by its ability to evolve, to transcend its divisions and embrace its potential as a true cosmic civilization. Neil deGrasse Tyson's words echoed in her thoughts. The universe is under no obligation to make sense to you. Humanity had been granted a reprieve, but the forces of the cosmos were indifferent to their struggles. The next time, Earth might not be so lucky. As the global celebrations continued, Kyra turned her attention to the long-term implications of the mission. The asteroid had been deflected, but the technology that had been developed during the crisis could be the key to Earth's future. The kinetic impactors and nuclear propulsion systems that had saved the planet were only the beginning. There was potential here. Potential to harness the energy and resources of the solar system, to build a truly advanced spacefaring civilization.
They've taken their first steps. Now we need to ensure they keep walking.
Earth's leaders began discussing what came next. The mission had proven the power of global cooperation, and there were calls to formalize this alliance into something more permanent. An international coalition dedicated to planetary defense was proposed, one that would pool the technological and scientific resources of every nation to protect Earth from future threats. Kyra could see the possibilities stretching out before her. If this coalition succeeded, it would mark a turning point in human history. They would begin to think not as individual nations, but as a single species united by a common purpose. It was the first step toward becoming a Type 1 civilization, a society capable of harnessing the full energy and resources of their planet.
It's promising, but they will need guidance.
Kyra knew what he meant. Earth was still young in cosmic terms, still learning to navigate the complexities of space. Without proper direction, their progress could stall. She had seen it before when Kytherion had reached a similar point of potential, only to fall into chaos and ruin.
I'll stay with them. I'll guide them as much as I can.
It was a decision she hadn't made lightly. Since her transformation, she had felt disconnected from the organic world, from the people she had once lived among. But Earth was different. She saw in its people the same drive and ambition that had once propelled Kytherion to greatness. If she could help them avoid the mistakes of her past, perhaps they could succeed where her world had failed. For the first time since her transformation, Kyra felt a sense of purpose beyond mere survival. She had come to Earth to save it from destruction. But now, she saw that her mission was far greater. Earth was on the verge of something extraordinary, but they would need someone to show them the way.
I'll begin with their scientific communities. They're the ones who will lead humanity into the future. If I can help them understand the true scope of the universe, the forces at play, they'll be able to guide the rest of the world.
It is a delicate balance. They are still learning, but they are more capable than they realize. With the right guidance, they could become a truly advanced civilization.
Kyra began transmitting her knowledge to select scientific institutions across the planet. She sent encrypted data packets filled with advanced astrophysical models, detailed simulations of potential cosmic threats, and designs for spacefaring technology that could take humanity beyond their solar system. The information was carefully tailored, designed to expand their understanding without overwhelming them.
They're not ready for everything yet, but this will give them a glimpse of what's possible.
As the data flowed through Earth's networks, Kyra watched as scientists began to decode and analyze the information. She could see the excitement in their reactions, the realization that they were on the cusp of something far greater than they had ever imagined. The technology they had developed during the asteroid crisis was only the beginning. With Kyra's guidance, they could build ships capable of reaching other planets, other star systems. They could begin to think of themselves not just as citizens of Earth, but as citizens of the cosmos.
The future is open to them now, but the universe is vast, and they will face many challenges.
Kyra knew he was right. The asteroid had been a wake-up call, but it was only one of countless dangers lurking in the cosmos. Black holes, gamma-ray bursts, rogue planets. The universe was full of forces that could end humanity in an instant. But it was also full of opportunity.
They'll rise to the challenge. They have to. Their survival depends on it.
For now, Earth was safe. But Kyra knew that her mission was far from over. She would stay with them, guiding them as they navigated the uncertainties of the cosmos. She would help them unlock their potential, push them toward the next stage of their evolution. And maybe, just maybe, they would become the kind of civilization that could one day stand among the stars.